Like the video and subscribe to our channel right now and get 1 week of amazing luck. Although they may not appear dangerous at first, mantis are incredibly aggressive creatures. Mantises are not equipped with traditional weapons like as sharp claws or poisonous teeth, but they have learned to hunt in the most vicious methods imaginable. These animals can hunt more violently and with greater skill than even the most formidable predators, taking everything from clean kills to whole prey meals. In today's video, we'll take a closer look at 13 of the most brutal moments of mantis hunting their opponents. So get ready! Number 13. Mantis attacks mouse. The mantis is not a picky eater, that's for sure. They will attack anything that catches them off guard and appears to be a tasty meal, even a rat. Predators frequently attack rats because of their enormous number, and mantises are no exception. A little pygmy mouse may be seen in this video searching the forest floor for food scraps. A praying mantis that is hanging around notices this task. With a single swipe, the insect slays the mouse as it gets closer to the unseen predator. The mouse then struggles for a brief while, trying in vain to free itself from the limbs. The mantis decides to eat its fresh kill while it's still alive, ignoring its pain. Number 12. Mantis attacks frog. Frogs are aware of their environment and remain alert, jumping away at the first sign of danger. However, sometimes none of these strategies are able to prevent a mantis attack. A mantis on a nighttime hunt catches a little, tasty frog to eat. The mantis's hind legs help them to keep their ideal body balance, which lets their upper body hang in midair as they labor to devour their food. The frog is held by the limb, and the mantis is seen feeding on it, making its way to the top. As this frog struggles to get away from the inescapable grip of the mantis, the barbed forelegs tighten around the frog, mangling it to death, while the mantid starts its usual work of eating its prey alive. Number 11. Mantises attack scorpions. Sometimes, mantises do not fight a battle to crush their opponents. They just want their rival to get a whiff of their power and acknowledge their dominance. Scorpions can be a tricky contender to fight, owing to their deadly pincers that can crush and nab a prey to immobilize them and a sting earth that injects lethal venom to subdue its prey. The mantis continues to move its tail while the scorpion chooses to end the fight following a fierce stare-down. When the mantis exhibits no aggressive behavior, the scorpion chooses to walk away from the battle, but it also chooses to move in circles. Initially, it seems like the mantis hesitates to make a move, but soon it becomes clear that it was only waiting to catch the scorpion off guard. The mantis attacks the scorpion and pins down the mid-segment of its body. The pincers and the stinger fail to make a proper hit, leaving the scorpion awkwardly stuck. However, the mantis lets its opponent go after a bit of struggle, having no intention of killing it perhaps. Number 10. Mantis attacks bush cricket. Bush crickets and mantises use the same feeding grounds and view one another as juicy meals. But mantises are hard to catch, and they can quickly change the balance between prey and predator. Unaware that the orange and black mantis it sees is toxic, a bush cricket approaches it from a distance. But the danger comes from another direction. The cricket is so focused on making the kill that it misses a threat. An orchid mantis bites the unaware victim and quickly immobilizes it. Because of the precise use of camouflaging, the bush cricket died by falling on its own because it had no idea who was pursuing it. Number 9. Mantis attacks snakes. The obvious outcome in any conflict between snakes and insects is that the snakes will always win. However, when the insect in question is a praying mantis, nothing can be said for sure. Mantises are so skilled and quick with their attacks that they can even easily defeat snakes. A corn snake prowling the grounds for a probable meal comes under the radar of a praying mantis hanging from a branch only a few inches above ground. As the snake gets closer, the insect lashes out at its prey and subdues it within a split second. Although the snake is big enough, it fails to do anything to free itself from the grip of this predator. With every passing minute, the snake is exposing itself to the possibility of getting eaten alive, but is saved in the last minute when the mantis loses its grip for a moment, allowing the snake to slither away. After a few intense moments of staring at each other, the praying mantis quickly takes the initiative to attack the snake when the two are placed in a small space. With its raptorial legs, the mantis reaches straight for the head and grabs it. The insect's legs' barbs aid in keeping its hold. The mantis continuously rolls and flips to keep the snake from coiling up against its body. To get out of the lethal wrap, it even uses its back limbs to clamber up against the grass. Despite being noticeably bigger than the mantis, the snake cannot withstand the attacker's skills. Following a fierce battle, the mantis prevails over its opponent and leaves the snake with wounds that prevent it from moving. A praying mantis hanging from a blossoming plant was seen in an amazing moment being hunted down by a snake. The mantis is hard to spot among all the greenery, and it frequently takes advantage of this camouflage strategy to surprise its prey. In an attempt to stop the assailant from moving farther, the snake tries to encircle the mantis's forelegs. The mantis keeps a firm hold on the snake and attacks it regardless of the obstruction. Number 8. Mantises attacks snails. When attacking, mantises move very quickly to give their opponent no chance to defend themselves. For the victim to avoid a mantis attack, they must be just as perceptive and quick to react. Due to their lack of speed, they are a prime target for mantises before sluggish creatures like snails. A mantis plainly destroys a snail in this video. The claws are glued to the sticky flesh of the snail, while the mandibles are working relentlessly to pull up the morsels of the snail straight to the mouth of the insect. The mantis bites off tiny pieces to finish easy consumption, to clean the snail to its last strand. Number 7. Mantises attack lizards. Mantises attack anything and everything that seems like a feasible meal to them. Whenever lizards share the same space with the praying mantis, the insects won't think twice about attacking their reptilian neighbors. This video features a lizard and a praying mantis facing off. To avoid conflict, the reptile first positions itself on the mantis's back. The bug attacks and mangles the victim when it eventually moves out of that posture. Every time the lizard tries to encircle the mantis with its tail in an attempt to render it immobile, the mantis manages to escape. The lizard tries desperately to escape by amputating its own tail to divert the predator, but the mantis is laser-focused on its prey and quickly captures and ingests the lizard. A close-up look of a mantis eating away a lizard unleashes the gory scenes of the using its strong mandibles to tear open its prey and pull out its guts to feed on them. The lizard is still moving its tail, implying that the prey is being devoured alive. In a similar situation, this mantis is also feeding on a plump lizard, holding it in the same way to ensure that the victim is in no position to escape the death grip. The lizard makes one last wriggle before going still, but the mantis seems to pay no heed and simply chews away on the exposed flesh. Number 6. Mantis attacks butterfly. Although butterflies are equipped with a pair of wings that helps them take off from critical situations like being attacked by predators, it's still not enough to escape the spying eyes of the mantis. This video shows a mantis consuming a dead monarch butterfly after it has been pursued. There are a bunch of other monarch butterflies that are swarming over the flowers, but this unfortunate one fell in the mantis's trap, it seems. The attacker rips up the butterfly in two halves and feeds on the body. This praying mantis is feeding on a butterfly. The prey is folded so that the predator can only see its exposed body. The mantis removes the wings after sinking its mandibles into the victim's flesh and devouring the entire corpse. Number 5. Mantises attacks bugs. The mantis has a larger field of vision than the majority of other predators thanks to its enormous compound eyes. These predatory insects frequently attack and kill a wide variety of insects with little danger or effort thanks to their abilities and keen vision. This mantis stalks a bug among the leaves, using the greens to camouflage itself. In an instant, it rushes at its prey and settles down. The rivals both fall through the trees, but the mantis holds onto the victim, stopping them from escaping. The mantis begins to eat the enormous prey after it has become comfortable and secure. A fierce battle breaks out as a bug and a mantis come into contact. Eventually, the mantis subdues the victim and holds it down long enough for the fallen rival to become limp despite each rival's attempts to take the other out. The mantis soon begins feasting on its kills and sides. Number 4. Mantis Attacks Bee. As ambush predators, mantises are skilled at following and ambushing victims without warning. Bees typically gather in hives, whereas mantises are constantly searching for a lone prey to attack. They strike without notice, giving their adversary no opportunity to defend themselves. While searching for nourishment, one of the worker bees from the colony of bees housed in the tree separates from the others. A praying mantis that is sly is watching the unaware bee closely because it doesn't know where the mantis is. When a second bee reaches the mantis halfway through its meal, the predator attacks once more, eliminating 2 prey in one hunt. One of the colony's bees is subdued by this mantis. The mantis has the victim trapped in its limbs as the maniples start digging into the flesh. The captive squirms and writhes constantly, struggling to get away, but the mantis keeps digging through its head, devouring the live bee. The camouflaging insects have the ideal cover provided by the green flora. It stays hidden as it pursues and approaches its victim. The mantis lashes out and snatches the victim by the limbs as soon as it gets near enough. The bee can no longer get away. It takes this mantis less than a minute to catch a lost bee. The mantis tightens its grip and starts to devour the victim before the bee has a chance to protect itself. Number 3. Mantis Attacks Hummingbird. For those on the ground, hunting down any flying predator can be extremely challenging. It might be difficult for even the most experienced wild predators to hunt birds. However, mantises are skilled at pulling off such a ruse by pursuing hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are humming around a bird feeder, darting in and out in an attempt to reach the food. The praying mantis directly outside the feeder is the source of the issue. The mantis waits patiently for a bird to approach, its 4 limbs extended out in attack position and its hind legs stabilizing its posture. Finally, a bird lands close to it, and the mantis strikes, swiftly pinning it down. The bird's frenzied flapping of wings does not release it until a person steps in to prevent an agonizing death for the bird. This hapless hummingbird is taken down by this sneaky predator on horseback. The mantis is difficult to see from a distance because it blends in so nicely with the surroundings. The mantis burrows through the bird's chest as it writhes in agony and becomes awkwardly lodged. Number 2. Mantis vs Mantis. A controversial bond exists between mantises and themselves. Within the mantis group, violence and cannibalism during the mating process are commonplace. To make sure they have the nutrients they require for survival, the females typically eat the males. Before putting a male mantis in a mating posture, a female immobilizes it. The female begins to feed on the male after they have become intertwined. Without any opposition, the male lets his cannibalistic spouse devour it. While the male just waits for its own demise, the female viciously beheads its partner and feasts on its internal organs. In a different circumstance, the mantis has split the other one in 2 and is putting out great effort to eat one of its own partners till it is nearly gone. It chops the parts off into little bits and dismembers them before putting them in its mouth to devour the entire thing down. Number 1. Mantis Attacks Spider. As skilled hunters themselves, spiders use their abilities to take down unforeseen prey. In addition to their usual advantages, several spider species are poisonous and can be fatal to their adversaries. However, occasionally the mantises are able to outwit these arachnids despite having all these tools and abilities. This praying mantis quickly transitions into attack mode and dispatches the wolf spider it finds straying in the area. Mantises are known for being an impatient eater who never waits for their prey to die before eating them. The mantis immediately starts eating the defeated spider when a second mantis comes around, but instead of fighting over the food, the two decide to share the same meal. In a different incident, the mantis found a black widow spider and gently began to suckle it while it was upside down to prevent direct contact with the victim. It brings the arachnid closer and holds it down between the folded raptorial legs and begins to rip up the spider in tiny shreds to finish it off more conveniently.